Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial from my group on how to cut this stylish corporate dress with an overlap in front. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's video. So here's my pattern paper, and I've gone ahead to mark out all my basic measurements, which includes my shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waist, and 7 inches to get my blouse length. So after this, the next step we're going to take is to go ahead to mark out our shoulder. So my shoulder is 14 inches divided by 2. I have 7. So you'll be adding ½ inch to that point because this dress has a sleeve. From there, you'll be coming down by 1 inch. So after coming down by 1 inch, you place your ruler and you're going to draw out your shoulder slope and you're going to connect. After you're done connecting, you're going to go ahead to mark your basic neckline. And for the basic neckline, I'm using 3 by 3 inches, which is the standard basic neckline, and I'll cut out. But if you're not okay with this, you can use 3 by 2.5 inches because the neckline of this dress is a bit high. So next, I'll go ahead to adjust my shoulder slope. After I'm done doing that, is to find your chest line. And to find your chest line is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So I'll draw out a line at that point. Mine is 7 inches. Place my tape to measure that, to make sure I have 7 inches. So now I'll go back and mark what I have at the shoulder, which is my shoulder divided by 2 plus half, and I'll connect, drawing a straight line. So after this, I'll go ahead and divide what I have at this point into 2, and I will mark, come in by ½ inch, and at this point I'll go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. Now I'll place my curved rule and I'll be connecting from the midpoint to the upper part, and I'll go ahead to connect all the way to the lower part of this pattern. After I'm done connecting, the next step I'm going to take is to mark my measurement because this dress has no darts, and I'll go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Now I'll mark my under bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. And for the waist, I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Mark my hip circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Whatever I have on the hip, I'll take out 2 inches from it and I'll mark. My hip is 40 divided by 4, I have 10 plus the sewing allowance. Let's say my sewing allowance is 2 inches. So whatever I have at that point, which is 12 inches, I'll take out 2 inches from this and I'll mark at the lower part because the dress on the thumbnail, the fabric should be crepe and it might be a little stretchy, so I'm taking out 2 inches at the lower part. So after this, now I'll just go ahead and I will cut this out. After I'm done cutting this out, I'll be placing this on another pattern again, which I will cut out the same shape because I'll be using one to draft the overlap and I'll be using the other one as the main pattern of the dress. And after this, you're also going to use this pattern to also cut out the back pattern of your dress if you don't want to go through the process of redrafting again. So what you're going to do is to go ahead and add a zipper allowance in front of your pattern of 2 inches or 1.5, and then take out the zipper bulge at the waist and readjust your neckline to 3 by 1 inch for the back pattern. So this is what I have now. I'll go ahead and place another pattern paper and I'll trace out exactly the same thing. Just like I said, one will be for the overlap jacket and the other one will be the main part of this dress. So after folding this, I'll go ahead and place and I will trace this out. And while tracing out, make sure you trace out exactly the same thing. If not, the one on top might be different from the one underneath it. Also on this pattern, since there's no dart visible on this dress, you can go ahead and use a bust dart for the one underneath it. That is a basic bust dart of ½ inch on both sides, which will give you 1 inch. So after I'm done cutting this part right now, I'll go ahead and I will open up my pattern and we'll start adjusting the the jacket part or the overlap part of this dress. So to use this part to create the overlap, what I'm going to do is from here I'll come down at least by 3 inches or 3.5, and I'll start drawing out. So I'll be looking at what I have on my phone to actually draw this out. So when you're connecting, make sure it cuts across the center of your pattern this way, and then you're going to come down going towards the waistline. So at the waistline, make sure you come up to like 2 inches on this point and connect. So after connecting from the waistline exactly, I'm going to extend. So getting to the midpoint, I'll come out by at least 1.5 inches and I'll connect. From this point, I'll place my tape, mark 5 inches, and I'll go ahead to connect and draw out a curve at this point. So I'm done drawing out this. All I'll do is to outline it, and I'm going to go ahead to cut this out. So if you have any question regarding this part, you can go ahead and also ask your question. So this is like the easiest way to cut this out without going through any process. So now I'll place this again, and from that 3 inches I marked, I'll go ahead to make a mark at this point, go in a little, and I will be connecting this to the neckline of the dress. So I'll be cutting this in form of a mono strap, and if you don't want to cut it in form of a mono strap, you can cut it in form of an up shoulder, and this upper part will be replacing the boat shoulder. But you can cut it in form of a mono strap and connect one side of the shoulder together. So any of the methods you decide to use, it is still okay for this pattern. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out, and after I'm done cutting out, I'll go ahead and place it together for you to see. So this is the part that will be on top, and this is the main dress. Now placing it, you notice that it is looking similar to what we have on the thumbnail. So I'll just go ahead and cut this out. So just like I said, you can decide to trim the shoulder of that part of the one underneath, and then this will serve as the shoulder of the dress, but you're going to top stitch both of them together at the armhole. So this is what I have for this dress, and with this we have come to the end of this tutorial. If you have any questions so far, you can go ahead to ask. So I also made a little button at the side to indicate the button that we have on the part of this dress.